ceremonial procession is headed by the Kandyan dancers, symbolizing the cultural and artistic wealth of Sri Lanka. Ladies and gentlemen, currently we are privileged to witness the arrival of the chief guest of the 75th Annual Scientific Sessions of Sri Lanka Veterinary Association, Professor Hemantha Dodampahala, who serves as the chairman of the National Research Council Sri Lanka. Accompanying our chief guests are the guest of honor, Dr. Nimal Jayavira, the Additional Secretary of Ministry of Agriculture, Dr. M.N.M. Fauci, the Acting Dean of the Faculty of Veterinary Medicine and Animal Science, University of Peradeniya, upon their arrival, they were warmly received by the President of the Sri Lanka Veterinary Association, Dr. Dilan Satharasinghe, and the executive members of the Sri Lanka Veterinary Association. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the momentous moment of the arrival of the distinguished guests of the 75th Annual Scientific Sessions of Sri Lanka Veterinary Association. The procession is headed by the Kandyan dancers, adding more color and glamour to this momentous occasion. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to all of you, and you are warmly welcome to the 75th Annual Scientific Sessions of Sri Lanka Veterinary Association. To commence this memorable event, let's raise for the national anthem. Sri Lanka, the sea. By lighting the traditional oil lamp, symbolizing the dispelling of darkness and the arrival of wisdom, we would like to make the formal opening remark of this glamorous event. Now, we would like to cordially invite the following dignitaries to take part in lighting the traditional oil lamp. Professor Hemantha Dodampahala, Chairman, National Research Council Sri Lanka. Dr. Dilan Satharsinghe, President, Sri Lanka Veterinary Association. Dr. Nimal Jayavira, Additional Secretary, Ministry of Agriculture and the President of Sri Lanka Veterinary Council. Dr. M.N.M. Fauzi, the Acting Dean of the Faculty of Veterinary Medicine and Animal Science, University of Peradeniya. Dr. Rasika Jinadasa, the Chairperson of the 75th Annual Scientific Sessions of Sri Lanka Veterinary Association. Dr. Nilokshi Lianagunawardana, Secretary, 75th Annual Scientific Sessions. Dr. Atul Mahagamake, Country Lead, US Soybean Export Council. Dr. Mohammed Ijaz, President-elect, Sri Lanka Veterinary Association. Dr. Kaun Dikawangisundara, Secretary, Sri Lanka Veterinary Association. Dr. Dhananjay Karunatilaka, Treasurer, Sri Lanka Veterinary Association. Dr. Niranjala De Silva, the editor of Sri Lanka Veterinary Journal. One of the past presidents of Sri Lanka Veterinary Association, and Dr. Ushan Pallegama, President, World Poultry Science Association, Sri Lanka branch. Dear dignitaries, please come forward to light the traditional oil lamp. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, on this note, I would like to cordially invite the following dignitaries to the head table. The chief guest, Professor Hemanta Dodampala, Chairman, National Research Council Sri Lanka. Dr. Dilan Satharusinghe, the President, Sri Lanka Veterinary Association. Our guest of honor, Dr. Nimal Jayavira, the Additional Secretary, Minister of Agriculture. Dr. Eminem Fauci, the Acting Dean of the Faculty of Veterinary Medicine and Animal Science, University of Peradeniya. Dr. Mohammed Ijaz, President-elect, Sri Lanka Veterinary Association. Dr. Rasika Jinadasa, the Chairperson of the 75th Sri Lanka Veterinary Association Scientific Committee. Dr. Kaun Dikawangisundara, Secretary, Sri Lanka Veterinary Association. And Dr. Dhananjay Karunaratne, Treasurer, Sri Lanka Veterinary Association. Thank you very much. The Sri Lanka Veterinary Association, being the professional body of the veterinary profession in Sri Lanka, committedly works towards the advancement of the veterinary profession in Sri Lanka as well as the well-being of animals. So today we all are here to witness another tremendous work organized by the Sri Lanka Veterinary Association. To formally welcome all of you for your giving us the gift of your presence today, I would like to cordially invite the president of the 75th annual scientific sessions of the Sri Lanka Veterinary Association. Dear Dr. Dilan Satharasinghe, the floor is yours.
Chief guest, Professor Hemanandu Dampahala, Chairman of the National Research Council and President of Sri Lanka College of Gynecologists. Guest of honor, Dr. M.D.N. Jayavira, Additional Secretary to the Ministry of Agriculture, Livestock Development. Department, Dr. M.N.A. Fauzi, Acting Dean, Faculty of Veterinary Medicine and Animal Science, University of Peradeniya. Chair Scientific Committee, Dr. Rasika Dinadasa. Past presidents, 75th SLVA Executive Committee members, 75th Scientific Committee members, my teachers, members of the Sri Lanka Veterinary Association, and invitees representing ministries, state institutions, academia, international organizations, and all other distinguished invitees. Good morning to you all. So you can see this year, our theme is for veterinarians' role in food safety and food security, especially emphasizing the One Health approach. So we believe in this year, based on the crisis we faced in Sri Lanka, the veterinarians' role for food safety and security is very important. And it is not only in the local context, it is very important in global context as well. So veterinarians play a bigger role, very big role in the global food security and the safety. So I'm truly delighted to stand before you today to extend a warm and heartily welcome to the 75th annual scientific sessions of the Sri Lanka Veterinary Association. It is an honor to have each and every one of you here, representing diverse backgrounds, experiences, and expertise. Your presence here is a testament to your commitment to the knowledge sharing, collaboration, and the pursuit of excellence in your respective veterinary field. Our esteemed invitees, chief guest, guest of honor, keynote speaker, and plenary speaker have dedicated themselves to pursuing knowledge and have been generous to share their knowledge and vision of us today. Their insights and expertise will definitely enrich our understanding and the knowledge. Sri Lanka Veterinary Association annual scientific sessions is not just a gathering of like-minded individuals, but a dynamic platform for exchanging ideas, innovations, and inspirations. Today, we all embark on a journey of discovery, exploration, and enlightenment as we research into a wide array of topics in the veterinary field, including clinical, animal production and health, public health, wildlife, and aquatic medicine. This time, there were more than 80 abstracts issued from members, and over the last few years, involvement of the members in scientific research and communication is really significant, and it's encouraging. Today's presenters and authors have poured their hearts and minds into their research and presentations. We are eager to hear their insights, their dedications to advancing knowledge and addressing the vital issues of our time is truly commendable. I also want to extend my gratitude to our sponsors, without whom this event would not have been impossible. Your support, this conference, is really important. As we move forward in the conference, I encourage you all to actively participate, engage in discussions, and build connections, focus in the knowledge sharing. I would like to take this moment to acknowledge the hard work and dedication of the scientific committee, executive committee, volunteers, and everyone who contributed to making this event a reality. Your tireless efforts have been instrumental in bringing us all together today. In closing, I would like to emphasize that this conference is not just about the presentations and sessions. It's about the collective wisdom and energy that we bring to the shared space. Let us grab this opportunity to learn from one another, challenge our perspectives, and ignite the spark of innovation and the knowledge. Once again, a warm welcome to the SLVA 75th Annual Scientific Sessions. May our time here be filled with enlightening discussions, meaningful connections, and a renewed sense of purpose in the veterinary field. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for that warm welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, now it's a time for the address by the guest of honor. It's my privilege to introduce the guest of honor, Dr. Nima Jayavira, the Additional Secretary of the Ministry of Agriculture. Dr. Jayavira has started his career as a government veterinary surgeon in Kurunagala. Then he served as the Director of Animal Health and then as the Additional Director General of the Department of Animal Production and Health. Currently, he is the Additional Secretary of the Ministry of Agriculture. With that short introduction, it's my honor to invite our guest of honor, Dr. Nima Jayavira, to address this audience. Dear sir, floor is yours.
Very good morning to everyone. Dr. Dilan Satarasinghe, President of the Sri Lanka Veterinary Association, Professor Hemant Durampahala, Chief Guest, Chairman of National Research Council, Dr. Pausi, Acting Dean of the Faculty of Veterinary Medicine and Animal Science, and Dr. Rasika Jinadasa, Chair of today's scientific sessions, and our senior vet, Dr. Dhanapala, I should say the senior most maybe, and dear teachers, colleagues, and all dignitaries. Thank you so much for inviting me as the guest of honor of the 75th Annual Scientific Sessions of the Sri Lanka Veterinary Association and giving me this opportunity. It is indeed an honor and a privilege to stand before such a distinguished gathering of veterinarians and professionals in this field. We all know that Sri Lanka Veterinary Association holds a very special place in the hearts of veterinarians across the nation, as it is the largest organization of veterinary professionals in Sri Lanka. Since its inception, SLVA, especially presidents with executive committees, have worked tirelessly for the advancement of our noble profession. The annual scientific session is a very important event in the veterinary calendar and can be considered as lifeblood of our profession. It serves as a vital platform, offering an unparalleled opportunity to share scientific knowledge, introduce new innovations, showcase cutting-edge technologies, and present the latest research findings. And it equips our members with the most up-to-date information and steer them towards new horizon in various disciplines in the sector. This year's theme, One Health for Food Safety and Sustainable Production, resonates profoundly and fitting nicely with the current global context, because food safety issues have become increasingly prevalent and the concept of One Health collaboration has never been more crucial. The ministry and the department have also recently engaged in various One Health forums and activities, including international health regulations and performance of veterinary services One Health bridging workshop held about 2 months back in Kalutara. So in short, we say IHR PBS bridging workshop. It led to a One Health roadmap. And IHR Joint External Evaluation Committee. In short, we say IHRJEE. So I think many of, I think probably part of this, the scientific community have been attending that one about 1 or 2 weeks before. So where food safety has been a prominent topic of discussion. Also, I want to let you know that Department of Animal Production Health has initiated a surveillance program in poultry meat production systems, targeting food safety as well as the export market requirements. I can see some of the veterinarians who are actively engaged in this program here, because we know chicken meat is I should say the only animal product at the moment having a good potential for export market. So we are trying, and SLVA is trying. Probably we will get good results, I think, in the near future. The ministry is in the process of developing safety standards for food of animal origin. We have submitted final draft of the standard for raw milk, for example, to the relevant sectoral committee last month. And also we have formulated the dairy policy, and that is pending for the cabinet submission. So I hope that the scientific knowledge and skills shared during this event will be of immense importance in future development programs and play a pivotal role in the development of livestock sector, further contributing to the growth and sustainability of nation's animal agriculture and food production. Finally, I extend my heartfelt wishes for the success of all authors and presenters today. Your dedication for the advancement of the field of veterinary medicine and animal science is commendable, and your contributions are invaluable and highly appreciated. Also, I must extend my best wishes to the Sri Lanka Veterinary Association in all its future endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that insightful speech, sir. Moving forward, it's a pleasure to introduce the platinum sponsor of today's event. Now, I would like to cordially invite Dr. Susia Silva, the head of animal utilization in South Asia for US Soybean Export Council, to conduct the presentation from the platinum sponsor of the event. Dear sir, the floor is yours.
Good morning. Chief guest, Professor Dodampala, Chairman, National Research Council. Guest of honor, Dr. Nimal Jayavira, Additional Secretary, Livestock Development, Ministry of Agriculture. President, Sri Lanka Veterinary Association and the Executive Committee of Sri Lanka Veterinary Association. And the past presidents, including very senior member, Dr. Dhanapala, and fellow veterinarians. I'm so glad to be here as a head of animal utilization of United States Soybean Export Council for South Asia and Sub-Saharan Africa, and also as a former president of Sri Lanka Veterinary Association. In this short presentation, I'm going to highlight a very simple technical concept that is we call protein paradox, crude protein versus essential digestible amino acids. It certainly is a paradox. Let's start with the very simple facts about soybean. Soybeans. Soybean is used mainly as a cooking oil and also as a protein source in humans as well as in animals. And the important component of soybean is the oil, which represent about 20%, and then significant proportion of protein is there and various other components. Oil is becoming very significant under current circumstances. One is it is used for cooking purpose, and now there is a growing trend in United States due to the simple environmental reasons. They are going to go for renewable diesel production from soya oil. That will definitely change the entire soybean outlook in the world. And within next 5 years, they are going to increase the quantities by 15 to 20 million metric tons. That is 2 times India. India is one of the largest producers in the world. It is 2 times. That extra bit is 2 times India. And then for me, as head of animal utilization, most important component is that this is a protein source in animals. Soybean is crushed, we call it crushing, crushed to get oil, and the byproduct is used as a soybean meal in animals. But you can use various, the ways to crush. Solvent extraction, you can expel, and you can extrude and expel, and whatever the process you use, outcome is good quality animal protein. Globally, soybean meal is preferred and widely used as a protein source in poultry diets, and that is by far the best protein meal available, and that is considered as the gold standard. Any other protein meal is compared against soybean meal, and understandably, that is the mostly available as well. Out of the total protein meals used, more than 70% is soybean meal. Why soybean meal is preferred in animal feeds? And for many reasons. One is it contains fairly high amount of protein and good quality protein. And it has a very unique amino acid profile which suits animals as well as humans. And the digestibility, it doesn't matter amount of protein you have unless it is digested and utilized by animals. Digestibility is very high. There are some anti-nutritional factors, but with this processing, it can easily can be eliminated, and it is very palatable as well. And this particular unique product can be used as a sole protein source in animals. Why do we talk about crude protein? The term crude protein instead of proteins, and this is a very easy measurement to do. And when you import soybeans in shipments and in the contracts, you go for crude protein contents, it is easy, and the pricing is based on that. And also for formulators, nutritionists, if you know the protein content and the proportion of amino acids, you can adjust your formulation matrices for feed formulation. The crude protein, unfortunately, is a very crude measurement. What we do here is analyze the nitrogen content, and assuming 16% of nitrogen is in proteins, you multiply that by 100 divided by 16, 6.25, and say this is your protein content. Say, for example, if you have some urea with nitrogen, that will be, badly reflected. So, but this method was developed in Germany in 1866. After 157 years, we still use that, we still rely on that. So that's where, we get to rethink about. Simply because it is simple, inexpensive, routinely you can carry out, we continue to use that. The relying on this 157-year-old measurement and crude protein content to define the quality of any protein meal is a very bad idea, and it is a paradox. Certainly, it is a paradox. Animal needs protein for growth and development, but they don't have requirement for protein. What is required is amino acid. Not all amino acids are equally important. Certain proportion of amino acids can be synthesized within the body. There are amino acids which cannot be synthesized in adequate quantities. We call them essential amino acids. What matters is essential amino acid, but there are within the essential amino acid, there are some critical elements. We say critical amino acids, those are far more important than other amino acids. Then we say protein content is relatively meaningless. Now, world is moving away from crude protein, although we continuously measure and rely on that. What is important is the amino acid. And now there are about 10 amino acids, which is essential out of 21 used for protein synthesis. And out of that essential amino acids, for feed formulation, we don't use amino acids any longer. What we use is essential digestible amino acids. And we need to know that. To understand this paradox, we'll do simple comparisons between soybean meal and some other commonly used protein meals. Soybean meals, generally, I got this from the latest Evonik database. Evonik is the company that produces large number of samples. And in soybean meal, say, for example, for protein, if you want to formulate a diet with ideal amino acid balance that suits poultry, what is given in blue gives the ideal proportion. We call it ideal amino acid balance. And what is in green is the amino acid composition of soybean meal. And it is not the 100% match, but it is quite closely matched. That's why we say it is very important. Rapeseed meal, probably the second mostly used protein meal in the world. And protein content is slightly lower. And look at that. If you add all the amino acids together, you get true protein content. What is, the rest is non-protein nitrogen. And it is not too bad. Rapeseed meal is not too bad. What is important is in the last column, you have the total 5 most critical amino acids. So compared to soybean meal, it is lesser, but I would say it is not too bad. Apart from that, energy content is very significantly low. That will, leave rapeseed meal out of equation for poultry diets. Cottonseed meal, India is the largest producer. This is a very good example to say crude protein is a paradox. And see, in this particular example, coming from 2023 samples, crude protein content in cottonseed meal is more than soybean meal. But this is not actually the case. But in this particular example, but the true protein content is almost similar. But look at the 5 most essential amino acid, critical amino acid, it is lot lesser. So that's why, because it has a very bad amino acid balance, deficient in many critical amino acids. The guar meal, yet again, the byproduct of guar gum industry used in India and some parts of this region. And its protein content is fairly good and the energy content is fairly good, but it has a very poor amino acid balance. If you use crude protein as a measure, that will trick you. So you will end up losing your performance. So the actual critical amino acid contents are much lower in that. That is just for comparison. Coconut meal is, one we use in Sri Lanka. So you can see the difference is even greater. Let's look at some of the peer review data. There are not many publications comparing performance of soybean meals of different origin. One landmark study was done by Professor Ravindran in University of Messe. One of our lecturers at University of Peradeniya is a world-renowned poultry nutrition, and he demonstrated although the crude protein content of 3 different soybean meals from the biggest exporters in the world, Argentina, Brazil, and US. Brazil has more crude protein in the soybean meal, but not the digestible crude protein. So that is what we can use. That is from where amino acids are come from. And in the same experiment, he did digestibility coefficients of crude protein as well as all the essential amino acid, and found the digestibility coefficients are different, and US meal had much higher digestibility coefficients than any other products. Indian product is much lower, but it is completely a different commodity. It is non-dehull, but other 3 is dehull soybean meal. That is exactly the case. This is one study from University of Madrid, and it says digestible amino acids, which is the one we use in feed formulation, is for many critical amino acids. So there are differences, and you can, this difference can be compensated by adding synthetic amino acid. There are many, but at times there are, the very significant times, the prices of that can vary. This prices, I got those from, the feed information, which is the publication of 12th of, 3 days ago. Why different? Why different soybean meals has different composition, different nutrient potential? Because they are grown in different environment, different agronomic conditions. Genetics is different. The processing very important, and the quality of beans are very important as well. Because if the quality of beans are good, you end up getting quality soybean meal. And this is one example. The exporters do samples, and from various ports. This is some in USA. You can see the damaged bean levels of US soybean versus Brazil, and the damaged bean percentage is very high in Brazilian meal. And then with that, they tend to ferment the sugar components, as well as can damage certain amino acids. Just leave nitrogen. So crude protein can be higher, but not the amino acids. This is very latest evonik data, and you can see, and there are difference in protein levels, fiber and ash. If you have lower ash and lower fiber, that means more energy. And also if the sugar content, especially starch and sucrose, is higher, energy content is higher. In general, this simple take-home message is measuring soybean meal protein value and pricing the soybean meal based on crude protein content is very well outdated. Then why still we use it? Because it is quick, simple. That's why we do, but that will not reflect the actual value of that. The value of soybean meal depends on several other parameters: amino acids, digestible amino acids, and energy content, available energy. This portion is becoming far more significant than amino acid in future, because with modern food, with fast growing potentials, with high genetic potential, you need very the dense diet any energy is very important. These important criteria are not correlated to crude protein at all. So that's why we call it paradox. Thank you very much. It's just, yeah, I saved 2 minutes. Right, thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for that informative and insightful presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, our esteemed chief guest of the occasion is none other than Professor Hemantha Dodampahala, the chairman of National Research Council, Sri Lanka. Before I invite him to the podium, it's my honor to give you a brief introduction of his remarkable career. Professor Dodampahala is a consultant obstetrician and gynecologist, as well as professor in obstetrics and gynecology of the Faculty of Medicine, University of Colombo. He is also the current president of Sri Lanka College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists. He serves as the current chairman of the National Research Council, Sri Lanka. And also, he's a member of the National Medicines Regulatory Authority, Sri Lanka. He is also a focal point and specialist diplomat of the Royal Australian and New Zealand College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists. Moreover, he's a member of the International Society of Ultrasound in Obstetrics and Gynecology. With that brief introduction, I would like to cordially invite the chief guest of this occasion, Professor Hemantha Dodampahala. Dear sir, the floor is yours.
Good morning. Dr. Dilan Satarasinghe, the president of the Sri Lanka College of Sri Lanka Veterinary Association, and Dr. Jayveera, our guest of honor, and the secretary and the members, former and past members of the council, as well as past presidents, all the veterinarians here today, and ladies and gentlemen. This picture illustrates many things, different parts of my life, different position I adapt to. Thank you very much for the introduction, by the way. I really also, I can't define myself with the things that I do. But one of my focal point in this life is my Linda. You can see the Linda. We come very cheerfully to Hantana because they cannot be brought to Colombo. They drop all their fur, and they are registered members of the Faculty of Veterinary Sciences. I have 2 of them. So I like animals very much. And I like the contribution that the Sri Lanka Veterinary Association make to the country and the economy, giving proper scientific guidelines in producing the food, animal-based foods, and caring all the animals, right? So if not for humans, I treat the humans, but I equally think it's equally important to treat the animals also, because they are part of our life where we cannot draw a line between. Right. So going through the college, initially, I had some, we are people who can make up things. in my life, part of my life is a doctor. I deliver the babies and treat the women, and the women who cannot conceive, we make them to conceive and then deliver the baby. And when they grow old, we remove everything. Right. So that's the job of a gynecologist and obstetrician. Beyond that, we do many things. As an ultrasound specialist, we were the first to carry out intrauterine surgery and transfusions in Sri Lanka, because I hold a very respectable position in the university and honorary consultant in the National Hospital. So we are into it. Because looking at the website, I made a first comment to Rasika that I really like for you all to change your Veterinary Association of College of Veterinaries. Then Rasika said it has been already done. And my second proposal was to, so my lecture is NRC and its adventures plus proposal for improvement of SLVA. So one of the few things I have suggested, and Rasika said they are already in that, because the non-degree awarded people have made big associations with big names. So you need your name. If I don't have these titles, even my patients may not like me very much. So you may do a very genuine job, but you need to have some glitter in what you do. That's very important, right? I'll come to one by one. And my last part of the lecture, please stay with me, is something about one of the important problems we are dealing at the NRC level about the cancer, right? So it's a different presentation, different to what I say. I come from National Research Council, and very briefly talking, and this is how I have been introduced to you. We fund scientific research in the betterment of the nation, and especially the research and sciences. That is our mandate. Even despite the country situation with facing a lot of financial difficulties, Dr. Jayavira would probably tell us how strict that the economical things within the country, how strict the treasury is, we still provide funds for deserving research. And I used to go and sit in front, the treasury secretary. So most of the time, one of them are my patients. So I get the benefit of, as a doctor, to implement your product. So some of your projects are funded on my personal account with the people. They can't say no to me, and then they give money. So and so came and I had to do that. That's the way they say. So in a way, it's good. The science still continues in this country. And not only that, I can promise that if people in your association has President Awards, we will give the President Awards too, with some collected funds by me. Right. So these are the outlines of National Research Council, the different types of research programs. And one of the important things that I'm going to talk today is this establishment of cancer research in this country. Because cancer was treated by medical professionals at one stage, like if you want to catch a rabbit, you set a fire to the jungle. Anyway, rabbit can be caught, can be killed, but rabbit can get away also. So that was the nature of the cancer treatment a decade ago. So we have drastically modified cancer treatment to a very, very focused treatment. Like, have you seen in the recent past where platoon of officers in one country, only they were injured. None of the surrounding people died. Missile attack onto the vehicle. Finish. Not even others. So we also want to treat the cancers in the similar way. So NRC funded the program at the University of Colombo, where we call this center called Establishing a Referral Center for Cancer Diagnostic. We call it a SEDAC. So human cancers are diagnosed and treated through the SEDAC at the moment. But I would want you to get this concept into your head that can be even relevant for your veterinary specialty, right? So we'll come little by little. First of all, I have few suggestions I have laid down. Dilan must be listening to it. So I'm the current president of the Sri Lanka College of Obstetrician and Gynecology. Just type the name, how much it comes on the website. So that is very, very needed. Your outlook of your association should be eminent within the internet, right? And your missions, visions, everything was there, but you need to spend a little money and get a proper website. Very important. And then constitution and jurisdiction. So that has been already done, Rasika said. And then very important to have the research platforms. The feeling and thinking of our Sri Lankans is, look, I have not done a single research, so I'm not research oriented. Don't ever say that. In this kind of forum, what we need to know what you think. If you have seen an animal treated in a different way, write up a case report, publish it. You are not too small. Your knowledge is valuable. Even the person who don't like you will listen to it and practice it. That is sharing the knowledge. So you don't have to go to a high-angle research. You do a case report, a good series of case report, and then you couple it with a review with the evidence around the world. So that is how you start with your publications. So don't wait to start a big research and then publish a paper. It will never happen. So time to time you go and then you join a research team. You also start becoming research. Start a OCID number. Start a Google Scholar. ResearchGate account, anyone can start. Right? So these are little proposals to all the members of the Veterinary Association. I'm just proposing today. Publish as many as articles as possible, including reviews and case report. And Dilan will help you to give the good review and correct your writing if necessary and publish it in the internet. So that is your publication. And also establish a system of governance ensuring accountability. Even for treating animals, there should be an accountability. So very much for the humans, but animals are also as important as human. I might die if my dog dies. So who believes that, right? So you are in a very important profession. You must remember that, right? Only the heart of a animal lover will tell you your importance, right? So constant upgrading of the systems and the guideline. If you have a guideline, upgrade it. And encourage the Sri Lankan Veterinary Association journal to be established, at least 2 to 3 journals per year with all the publications sent by the members, and that you can be proud of and have a common creative license, an ISSN number, DOI, then your article is internationally recognized. Automatically, you will go into Google Scholar. Your name appear. You type someone, Rasika Janadasa, then everything about him will come. So that is the glory that I'm suggesting for all of you to have after this presentation. And finally, Creative Commons license. NRC will help you if you want to have it. We will give you the methodology. We recently gave a good clean overall to Sri Lankan institutes to have universities, private universities. So one of the requirements in the SCARCA is to have a research arm. So we will be there to help you if you need anything. Even if you don't know anything, just give a call to the NRC and we'll set up a meeting for you. Very simple. Coming back to my final part of the topic, it's important for all of our lives because you may have seen this in the papers that there is an increasing awareness as well as increasing trends of cancer occurrence in Sri Lankans as well as the whole world. Right. So one can say, look, cancers are same. No, it's not same. It's increasingly diagnosed as well as it's the incidence is coming up due to various, you probably know, food factors, environment, radiation, fertilizer, right? And NRC has recently knocked out one of the important theories of kidney disease in the Polonnaruwa district. They are not due to fertilizer, they are not due to pesticide, but they are not due to hard water use, right? So a lot of political things came in between, but we have proven by Professor Chandragupta's study funded by NRC, it's dehydration and consume of high fluoride containing water. So don't blame fertilizer and then one man lost the complete government on these issues, right? So listen to science. Very important, we tell the truth. Don't go by personal ideas of individuals who are so-called academics. We as a group represent the top academics in the country, for that matter, the world, and believe us what we say always. So coming back to this topic of cancer, is one of the very important areas of the NRC at the moment. There's a growing scourge of cancer. And if you look at International Agency of the Research on Cancer, estimated 1 in 5 men and 1 in 6 women worldwide will develop cancer over the course of their life. So this is the gravity of the cancer at the moment, right? So men or women, you are more likely to have a problem related to cancer in your life. These are some of the statistics. You can see year by year, it is getting advanced compared to what you had in 2006, 2014, it's more, and it's more seen in women, some of the cancers, because the breast cancer is one of the commonest thing. Therefore, women cancer incidence seems to be higher than the men, though there is ratio difference. So if you look at the WHO global cancer incidence, predicts that global burden for cancer will grow up by 70% over the next 2 decades. So the colors are not good. Therefore, I think the awareness among the humans, before the animals live, you should live. This is why I thought this is very important. So you can see the WHO predictions. It's going to be definitely high. So don't make a false claim. Now the medical systems are developed. Therefore, we diagnose more cancers. Now, even among the, I'm asking our former senior veterinarian, do you see more cancers now, sir? You see more cancers, right? Even among the animals. So the environment is very hostile and taking us towards a final destination, it seems. Right. So these are some of the statistics about 18.1 million new cancer cases adding up every year. Right. So coming to Sri Lanka, about some of the work that NRC has done. These are the common cancers we diagnose: oropharyngeal cancer in men, lung cancer, and then gut and Badavelsa Gudamalga, GI tract cancers, then bowel cancers, and then prostate cancers. Still the highest number in the male is oral cancer, because men smoke, men chew beetle. If women start chewing beetle, they will beat the men also, right? And in developed countries, women smoke more than men, and they still have higher chance of developing lung cancers, right? If you come into the women, breast cancer takes everything up and place in the women. in the highest position of the cancer. Unfortunately, 1 in 8 women will suffer from breast cancer, no matter where you are. And then the thyroid gland cancers, and again, GI tract cancers, and women has womb, like the prostate, womb, and the cervical cancers, and then womb cancers, endometrial cancers. So these are the common cancers. You can see why women predominate, because they have different systems compared to the man. So good news about cancers. Most of the cancers, there are treatments. I have operated on many cancer women and they still live. My first cancer I did in 1999 as a senior registrar in the Soisa Hospital, a policewoman, where she was supposed to have a spread ovarian cancer. I'm very happy. I saw her last month also at the police hospital clinic. She still lives. She had a heart attack, stent, and I have declared that you will die from any other reason other than the cancer that I operated. So it's a good news, right? So 89% of the breast cancer patients and 65% of the GI tract cancers, 70 to 80% of the lymphoma, and over 90% of the prostate cancer, their life is above 5 years. So very important to decide the life when you get a cancer, how much life I have. You must have that in your mind. Just imagine yourself that today you diagnose a cancer, right? How many years I can live? So I give them, you live about 15 years. I'll get your children to study and then perhaps marry, see your grandchildren, right? So if you have a positive wish and a good surgical backup, you always live. But very important that you diagnose the cancer and come for a proper treatment without believing all the miracles above us, right? And some substandard non-scientific treatment. That is how most of the patients die, right? So ප්‍රතිකාරය සාර්ථකත්වය රඳාපවතින්නේ නිවැරදි රෝග විනිශ්චය සහ කඩිනම් ප්‍රතිකාර මත. So I put it in Sinhalese, right? So commonest cancer, breast cancer, who are the most likely people that is likely to develop breast cancer? One with the small nodules in the breast, and you show any changes in the breast nipple, and any color change, any skin tethering or puckering kind of a breast, and then any discharge from the nipple. If you have one of these symptoms, it's very important that you seek immediate advice from a doctor. Then it's very simple. What doctors do it, they pass a needle. I mean, I just want to ask you whether you do this on your animals. Fine, right, very good. So you just focus that area, take cell samples, and then you diagnose this. Not rocket sciences, it's commonly done, but very important when we have how NRC has helped. I'll come to the end of the presentation. The diagnosis based on cancer discuss worldwide specialist through the virtual ports. You join at the same time. Sometimes you may have to work a little hard. Come at 2 o'clock to meet the Australian person who's joining you at 6 o'clock for a common slide and then making a common decision. That's a very perfect decision, right? So that is how we coordinate the NRC funded project, coordinates with the other countries. I will come to that. And then breast cancers, if you don't like this procedure, can be diagnosed in the form of an X-ray that's called mammogram. Right? It's simple. If you don't have a proper lesion, if you suspect, say your next door neighbor had a breast cancer and you are worried, then get a mammogram done. Right? So that will show us if there's anything. So cancers are always seen and visible with a mammogram. right? So breast cancers, the commonest cancer, and in the middle-aged women, but it doesn't rule out any other ages, right? So very important, you do a mammogram, and then for a perfect diagnosis, confirmatory diagnosis, you go for fine needle aspiration. If you diagnose it early and the cure is very sure, and you live more than 10 to 15 years. So do all the lumps are cancers? No. Then very important cancer common in males is the oropharyngeal cancer. These are the appearances. If you see any of these things, they are not good. And the reasons, smoking, beetle chewing. So India has a lot of these patients because they chew beetle with different flavors, especially the calcium hydroxide component together with the areca nut forms a chemical that can lead to carcinogenesis. So when you get it, sometimes with a small ulcer, you might see the lymph nodes, and that means he has come to a terminal stage, right? So පුවක් කුණු දුම්කොළ සමග බුලත් විට සැපීම සහ දුම්පානය. That is the reason. And smoking, the breast cancer. And nowadays people don't smoke because I don't know, very rarely people smoke because of the cost. So that's a God's way of reducing the incidence of lung cancer. I would wish to push it more and more, right? So long-standing cough, and then bloods in the sputum, difficulty in breathing, tiredness, feeling fatigue, chest pain, and losing of the weight. If you have any of those things, just consult your doctor. And then X-ray is very, very diagnostic. Similarly, we do X-ray and pass a needle, and this is the histology we generally see. It's a squamous cancer of the lungs. And thyroid gland cancers. Again, thyroid, we are taking a fine needle aspiration. Very important and treatable cancer. Very important and treatable cancer. If you get a thyroid cancer, you can be treated. Then GI cancers in Sri Lanka, it happens in both, but mostly it happens in adults after 50 years. And a family history, once again, very, very important. If your mother suffered, father suffered, then very important you think of these things because it can come up in families. Once again, problems in the bowels, tiredness, loss of weight, passing constipation, diarrhea, and then passing blood with your stools and abdominal pain. Very effective way to diagnose it. We can put a colonoscopy and identify the lesion then and there, take a biopsy and come out, right? So still our country, the main diagnosis still relies on microscopic and then non-microscopic methods, and there are unknown methods, clinical and all that. So in developed countries, you have all forms of different stains, immunohistochemistry and molecular genetics, but still Sri Lanka, until we invented the SEDAC, they were restricting themselves on light microscopy and special stains. But with the SEDAC, we have gone beyond this and we have come to a very proper clinical diagnosis. So this is the kind of setup that we have developed in the SEDAC, where many people contribute. Those who cannot join, they will be called to join virtually. And you look at and say, this is a cancer. One said, this is not a cancer. No, this is a cancer. So it's like a judgment in a Supreme Court or Court of Appeal. We decide. If 3 people say, 2 people say out of 3, this is a cancer, we take it that way. Right? So it's important to share this knowledge with the world-class authorities. And this service comes absolutely free. And this NRC funded project currently being functioned at the Medical Faculty Colombo. Because if you don't diagnose a cancer, so very important, Dr. Jayavira will probably know this, how much money we have to spend on improper diagnosis. Different types of lymphomas, if you don't make a proper diagnosis, the cost for chemotherapy will cost more than 1.5 to Sri Lankan government. But if you make a correct diagnosis using a IHC panel, that's what is done in the SEDAP, it's only 100,000. So we make it nearly 1 in 15 of the expenditure. So this is the target of the NRC, to not to spend money on research, but to save a lot of money on the results based on the research. That is what we have funded even the veterinarians for, to give a more productive approach. So I have taken something out of your box to educate today about how we deal with the cancer, right? So cost to the nation, unnecessary funding, it's approximately 23 new cancer patients for the year. And if the misdiagnosis, that will amount to nearly 46 million waste of money. And not only that, initial wrong treatment will result in this patient losing life and ability to cured completely by cancer, right? So if a child has blood cancer, always don't try to go for many chemotherapies, right? If you diagnose, always there is a single focus chemotherapy which will help the child or whoever. So this is where NRC stands in doing this project for focus chemotherapy center in Sri Lanka. So even if people suffer from cancer, there is a way to diagnose and give a proper treatment. So this is the setting that we used, right? We call real-time telepathy imaging system, and the plan out from us, and that is currently being practiced, right? Remember, diagnosis is not the end, but the beginning of a practice. That is said by Martin Fisher. So we, after diagnosis, we have a new start of practice. And if we can make correct diagnosis, the healing can begin. If we can't, both our personal health and our economy are doomed. So this is where the NRC has successfully funded a project to save human lives using the state-of-the-art techniques. We spend only 50 million on this project, but we save 50 billion on the cost of the national money, as well as save many lives where you cannot put a value on. So once again, I thank you all for inviting me for this prestigious event. You didn't know about me very much, and but I accepted the invitation. And thank you very much for appreciating the services rendered by NRC, and we will look forward more and more. I'm going to Australia as an invited presenter to bring some money for our researchers. That is to start a rail crossing program. Because NRC not only does medical and veterinary and all that, we do a lot of engineering ones. So we got a project, World Bank project. The person who represents the NRC should be the always highlight by the other countries. So I get a lot of grants from Australia. I'm an Australian citizen also. So we look forward to help you in future also. And helping y'all will benefit all of us. That means our nation. Thank you very much. Thank you indeed.
Thank you very much for sharing your insightful thoughts, sir. I think we all were inspired to step forward in our professional and research careers more and more, and also to take care of our wellness of life. Now, we would like to take this moment to present the tokens of appreciation for the esteemed speakers of this event. For that, it's my honor to invite the President of the Sri Lanka Veterinary Association, Dr. Dilan Satrasinghe. First, we would like to invite Dr. Atula Magamage, the country lead of the US Soybean Export Council, as the platinum sponsor of the event. Following that, we are honored to give away the token of appreciation to the guest of honor of our event, Dr. Nimal Jayavira, the Additional Secretary of the Ministry of Agriculture. Finally, we are privileged to express our sincere gratitude to the chief guest, Professor Hemant Dodampahala, Chairman, National Research Council, Sri Lanka. Thank you very much, sir. As we mark the end of this opening session, I would like to cordially invite Dr. Kaundika Wangasundara, the Secretary of the Sri Lanka Veterinary Association, to deliver the vote of thanks. Dear sir, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Professor Hemanta Dodampahala, Chairman, National Research Council, Sri Lanka. Dr. Dilan Satrasinghe, President, Sri Lanka Veterinary Association. Dr. Nimal Jayavira, Additional Secretary, Ministry of Agriculture. Dr. M.N.M. Fauzi, Acting Dean, Faculty of Veterinary Medicine and Animal Science. Dr. Rasikara Jinadasa, Chair, 75th Annual Scientific Sessions 2023. Other dignitaries in the head table, 75th Executive Committee members of Sri Lanka Veterinary Association, 75th Scientific Committee members, invited chairpersons, panel of judges, presenters, authors, and invited distinguished guests, including all the past presidents, sponsors, and my dear colleagues. I'm happy to and honored to propose the vote of thanks at the conclusion of this inaugural session of 75th Scientific Sessions of Sri Lanka Veterinary Association. The theme of this year is One Health for Food Safety and Sustainable Food Production. First of all, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to our chief guest, Professor Hemanta Dodampahala, Chairman, National Research Council, Sri Lanka, for accepting our invitation and doing a very wonderful presentation today. I think all of us are delighted to have your presentation today. Thank you very much, sir, for your wonderful speech. And also, I must thank our guest of honor today, Dr. Nimal Jayavira, Additional Secretary, Ministry of Agriculture, for accepting our invitation and doing a wonderful presentation at the inception. I must also thank Dr. M.N.M. Fauzi, Acting Dean, Faculty of Veterinary Medicine and Animal Science, for your cooperation and extended to the Veterinary Association to make this event a success. Thank you very much, sir. Especially, I must thank all the speakers today. Actually, we are on time. So thank you very much for stick to the time frame that we have given during your speeches. Special thank to all the speakers. On behalf of Sri Lanka Veterinary Association, I convey a thanks to Dr. Hirofumi Kujita, the regional representative for Asia and the Pacific World Organization for Animal Health, for accepting our invitation for the keynote speech, which will be present very soon. Then I must thank our plenary speaker, Professor Nakobi Sobi, the Graduate School of Integrated Science for Life, Hiroshima University of Japan, for accepting our invitation and doing our plenary speech after this session. I also take this opportunity to convey our gratitude to our Chief of the Scientific Committee, Dr. Asika Jinadasa, who paid tremendous effort with great commitment and dedication to make this event a very successful. And also I must thank the session secretary, Dr. Nilushi Kilnagardana, and the members of the scientific committee for their great effort. We're grateful to all the abstract reviewers and your motivation and determination to maintain a high standard of these publications. Also, I wish to express our gratitude to the panel of judges who will be assisting us in the afternoon sessions to select the best presentations in different sessions. My heartfelt thanks to all the authors, co-authors, presenters for coming forward with enthusiasm for publishing this year scientific sessions to make it very interesting. Then I express my special gratitude to our platinum sponsor, US Soybean Export Council, for giving us a valuable sponsorship this time too, especially Dr. Atula Mahagamage, the country lead US Soybean Export Council, and also Dr. Susil Silva for giving us the valuable sponsorship this year too. Thank you very much. And also I must thank all the other sponsors, especially the diamond, gold, silver, and bronze sponsors for helping us to make this event a very beautiful one. Then on behalf of Sri Lanka Veterinary Association, I wish to convey my thanks to the technical team, including Mr. Kapila and all the staff of the hotel, Grand Kandyan, to have a beautiful venue for us and doing a very good service. Last but not least, I must thank all the participants who participated today to make this event a very successful one. Thank you very much and have a nice day.
Thank you very much, sir. Once again, thank you all of you for being a part of this event. The organizing committee invites all of you for the tea break and also to rejoin the next session punctually, which is scheduled to be started at 10:45 a.m. There's a special announcement. We would like all of you to wait until the procession officially ends.
In the United States, there are about 2.2 million farms. We stand together and ready to continue to grow and produce the food that fuels the world.
normal recording Zoom එක stop කරන්න බෑ සර් ඒකයි case එක. දීපගේ
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello. Yes.
Good morning, Dr. Fujita.
Yes. I'm here. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm Dr. Kaundika, the secretary of SLVA.
Okay.
So thank you very much for accepting our invitation and joining. There's about 5 to 10 minutes delay. So now we'll be starting the session officially local time. What we going to start was 10:45 to 11:10. That was the original time. Now the current time in Sri Lanka is 10 minutes to 11.
Yes.
So already about 10-15 minutes delay. Is it okay to you, sir?
Yes. I'm fine. So when we will start?
Okay. Now we are about to start the second session after the tea. Then there will be 5 minutes opening remarks by the session chair, and then after that your speech. So
Okay.
I think
Okay.
I think
Yes. I'm fine. Totally
yeah.
fine. Can
Thank you very much.
try to upload my slides?
Hi.
Hi.
So
Good morning.
good morning. So please be in line. So once the speech is over by the session chair, then it's
Yes.
over to you. So hope we can do a very wonderful presentation.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much. So I'll hope you have uploaded your presentation. Can you switch to the slide mode so that we can check whether it is
Now
okay.
I uploaded.
Okay. We can see.
Okay.
Okay, it's fine. So I'll hand it over to the technical team. So then we can start in about 5-10 minutes time, right?
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank
Perfect.
you. Thank
Yeah.
you very much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
as the World Organization for Animal Health regional representative for Asia and Pacific in April 2013. With that brief introduction, I would like to cordially invite the keynote speaker, Dr. Hirofumi Kugikata, to address this esteemed audience. Dear sir, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much for kind introduction. Do you hear me, by the way?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. So, first of all, thank you very much for inviting me and giving me an opportunity to speak about our organization, World Animal Health Organization for Animal Health. Okay. I don't have much time, so I can directly start my presentation. Let me upload. Okay, so do you hear? Can you see my slides? Right. Okay, so my speech is for 25 minutes. I will talk about WOA's activities. Title is Animal Health is Everyone's Health. This is kind of slogan of our organization. Okay, my presentation today. Okay, first part of my presentation is to introduce World Organization for Animal Health. And second part is to talk about our activities in the region. Okay. Sorry. Okay, so I'm not sure how much you are familiar with our organization, World Organization for Animal Health, but our organization created about 100 years ago in 1924 as a name of International des Epizooties in French name. So it was called as OIE. Maybe you are more familiar with OIE, but we decided to change our acronym to WOA, that is from World Organization for Animal Health. And currently we have 183 members. And as you may know, WOA is always represented by a delegate who is normally chief veterinary officer of the country. In the case of Sri Lanka, Dr. Hemari, Director General of Department of Animal Production and Health, is the delegate at the moment. Actually, I met her 2 weeks ago in China, attending same meeting. So we are closely working with veterinary authority of our member countries, but our delegate is very busy and have to represent many other topics. So he should be supported by his staff. So he can nominate national focal point for 8 specific topics, as you can see here, like animal welfare, aquatic animals, veterinary product, wildlife, which are not necessarily under the jurisdiction of delegate. So delegate attend every year for a general session in May in Paris and decide everything, activity plan, budget, everything. Okay, this is our organization chart. As you may know, our Director General, Dr. Monique Elwa, and we have 2 Deputy Director General, Dr. Jean-Philippe Dopp and Dr. Montserrat Arroyo. Yeah, we have many technical departments we are closely working with. This is, WOA doesn't have any country office. Instead, we have regional and sub-regional office. Currently, in 5 regions of the world, we have 13 regional and sub-regional offices. In Asia Pacific, we have 2 offices. One is in Tokyo, where I'm from, another in Bangkok. our office in Tokyo is covering 32 member countries in Asia and Pacific, including South Asia and, of course, Sri Lanka. This is our office staff. Currently, we have 14 staff. Most of them are veterinarians. Technical, as you can see, we have 3 technical teams, veterinary service team, who are responsible for capacity building activities, including PVS. I will talk about it later. TAD control is the main activities of WOA because transboundary animal disease control is main objectives of our organization. And lastly, One Health team. As you may know, One Health is becoming more and more important. We are closely working with our partner organization like WHO, FAO, and more recently, UNEP. I will talk about it a little bit more later. And what we are doing, yes, we can explain using this slide. We have what we call 4 pillars of WOAH, that is transparency, standards, expertise, and solidarities. Yes, first pillar is transparency, meaning ensure transparency animal health situation globally. So our member countries are requested to report when they detect animal disease in their countries, territories to WOA as soon as possible, within 24 hours. Then we share those information with other member countries so that they can be well prepared to prevent introduction of such diseases from other countries. We have various type of report. So I hope our member countries can, submit those reports precisely and timely manner. Those information are uploaded on our website, so you can always refer to our website to get relevant information from website. Okay, second pillar is standard setting. In 1995, when WTO, World Trade Organization, launched, they decided also what is called SPS agreement. Under this agreement, 3 organizations are nominated as international setting body, and WOA is one of them, together with Codex Alimentarius and IPPC. And WOA is responsible for animal health and zoonosis. And WOA is developing international standards for safe trade of animal and animal product. Those international standards include WOA codes and manuals. I believe you are familiar with this document. You can download this document from our website as well. And one of WOA's important role is to certify the disease animal health situation of our member countries. So far, we have system called official disease status recognition. As of now, WOA is recognizing free status for six diseases, 6 most important diseases: FMD, BSE, CBPP, AHS, African horse sickness, PPR, and classical swine fever. Rabies is only for recognition, endorsement of official disease control program. So as you see, out of 183 member countries, this figure stands for the number of countries which has free status. So as you see, we have many member countries who still don't have free status. You know, for in a red circle, out of 32 member countries in Asia Pacific, only 7, 3, 6, those countries has free status. I cannot recognize Sri Lanka, unfortunately, in this table. So I hope Sri Lanka can still have to work to, gain this kind of status. Yeah. Okay. What I told you was official disease status recognition, but in addition to that, we have what we call self declaration of official self-declaration of disease status. So other than those 6 specific disease, our member countries can self-declare the status of animal diseases. For example, avian influenza, ASF, rabies, those diseases are out of, WA's official disease free status recognition. So even though they can submit relevant document to WA headquarters, and if those documents meet certain criteria, they can upload those declaration on our website. You can find what kind of diseases, which members self-declare their free status on our website. Okay, this is the 3rd pillar, what we call it, WOA reference centers. We have 2 systems. One is collaborating centers and another reference laboratory. Collaborating center is a institute which has specific, expertise on horizontal topics, while reference laboratory has expert dedicated to specific disease or pathogens. So anyway, in total, more than 300 different centers are working with us. Okay, and yeah, 4th pillar, last pillar is solidarity. Solidarity is meaning supporting member countries. So we have many programs. Maybe some of them you are familiar with. I pick up several activities, programs we are engaging. First one is GFTAD. GFTAD is GFTAD global framework for progressive control of transboundary animal disease, established in 2004. This is joint FAO WAR programs, and we have steering committee established, which include representative from SARC CBO forum, and we are conducting various activities with those sub-regional organizations. For SARC, for South Asia, we are working with SARC, SARC Secretariat, and currently under GFTAD framework, we nominated these 5 diseases as a priority disease in this region, including FMD, LSD, lump skin disease, PPR, avian influenza, and ASF. Those transboundary animal diseases are now existing or spreading in our region. So we are working together to prevent or contain these diseases in our region. Okay, we are organizing many meetings. This is just an example. Every year we have regional or sub-regional meetings, and actually next month we are planning to have another, sub-regional GFTAD meeting for South Asia in collaboration with SARC Secretariat. In February this year, we have a regional steering committee meeting. This is we invited chair of SAC Civil Forum, which was Pakistan at that time. Now chair is Bangladesh. Yeah, this is priority disease I already mentioned. Another important program is One Health collaboration. As you may know, previously we worked under what we call tripartite collaboration among FAO, OIE, and WHO. But now, since last year, UNEP, United Nations Environment Program, joined tripartite, which makes a quadripartite. So we are now working together among these 4 organizations. And actually last week we held very big meeting for quadripartite One Health workshop in Bangkok. I believe someone from Sri Lanka also attended. In this meeting, we are of course inviting representative from animal health, human health, and environmental health as well. So that makes very big meetings, like as you can see here. This is our Deputy Director General, Dr. Jean-Philippe Top. What we discussed in this workshop is how to implement One Health Joint Plan of Action. This was developed and adopted by quadripartite last year. In this joint plan of action, we have 6 action tracks, as you see here. I don't go into details, but those 4 organizations, quadripartite, are now closely working together how to implement these action track and how to support our member countries to implement these objectives. Okay, in our region, Asia Pacific, our collaboration among quadripartite is also very, very active. And as you may know, we have several regional offices under quadripartite. World Organization for Animal Health, as I said, we have 2 offices in Tokyo and Bangkok. WHO has 2 offices in Philippines, Manila, and Delhi in India. And FAO UNEP has also regional office in Bangkok. We are routinely communicating among them to strengthen our collaboration or avoid any duplication or contradiction among us. Another important program we are now implementing is PBS pathway. I suppose some of you must be familiar with this program. PBS stands for Performance of Veterinary Services, and actually, Sri Lanka conducted PBS follow-up evaluation mission early this year. So some of you must be involved in this mission. Under the PBS pathway, we are also providing various support programs, as you can see here. One Health integration, including National Bridging Workshop, veterinary legislation support program, laboratory training, education training, workforce development, and public-private partnership, PPP. There are many support programs. I like to show you several examples. This first one is PBS follow-up mission, as I mentioned. In July this year. This is a picture of the mission and government staffs who support this mission. The report from this mission is still to be finalized, but it will come out in coming months, including various, result of evaluation and recommendations, which would be a good, good guideline for the future activities of Sri Lankan veterinary services. This is the itinerary of the mission team. 2 weeks, they visited many places, and these are the list of officials, persons they met and interviewed. Yeah, I will move on to the next topics, that is veterinary education. Yeah, as you may know, WOA is also very active in supporting veterinary education. We have developed several guidelines, as you can see here, day one competencies or core curriculums. And we also supporting what we call veterinary education training. So Sri Lanka is one of those countries which benefited training program. As you can see in the bottom of this slide, University of Peradeniya, your university in Sri Lanka has training program with Massey University. It was successfully concluded. And we are also supporting regional organization, notably Asian Association of Veterinary Schools. And we are organizing workshop from time to time. And currently, Asian Veterinary Services, which started from East Asia, Japan, Korea, Taiwan, and expanding to Southeast Asia. But so far, very few veterinary schools joined in this association from South Asia. I would expect more countries will join this association and work together. In 2022, last year, we organized virtual workshop for veterinary education establishment and veterinary statutory bodies, as you can see here. Yeah, so we are doing many activities, and actually this week on Monday we organized another workshop, workshop in collaboration with AAVS. In this meeting, we have 2 representatives from South Asia. One is Dean of University of Peradeniya, Dr. Anil, and another from Pakistan, Professor Hafsa, and discussed about, how to improve veterinary education, how to harmonize education, and strengthen collaboration among countries and universities. So this is another important event in our region. And AAVS is basically association member of the veterinary schools. And AAVS made MOU with FABA. Maybe you are familiar with FABA, Federation of Asian Veterinary Association. I believe Sri Lanka Veterinary Association is one of member of FABA. So in this meeting on Monday this week, they agreed and signed on a MOU between FABA and AAVS. So this will make another milestone for future collaboration between veterinarians in the industry and professors who are expert in the universities. Okay, and I would just show you several example we conducted. We held meeting in Sri Lanka. This is one of them. Workshop on monitoring of AMU, which was held in 2019. We also had, a seminar on AMR for veterinary education establishment also in 2019. And I suppose some of you may be aware, IHR, PBS National Bridging Workshop. This is what we call One Health integration, to strengthening collaboration between human health and animal health. This workshop was also held February this year, And tripartite joint risk assessment workshop was also held in July. This is one of, tripartite or quadripartite tools to implement One Health in the country. Okay, and we are also supporting various activities on rabies control because we, together with our partners, we agreed on a global objectives to eliminate dog-mediated human rabies by 2030. So we are now providing various support to our members to control rabies, as you can see in this slides. Okay, another important topic is public-private partnership in veterinary domain. We have several materials on our website. So if you are interested, you can visit our website. But anyway, we are currently discussing with Director General of DAPH how we can introduce this concept in this in your country. So this brings me to the end of this my presentation. Okay, so I was to probably I skipped many many things, so maybe it is not easy for you to follow. But if you are interested, you can visit our regional website, or if you are interested, you can directly contact me or my colleagues for further details. Okay, with that, I would finish my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that insightful presentation, sir. Now we are going to have another enlightening event, that is the plenary speech by Professor Naoki Isobe from the Graduate School of Integrated Sciences for Life at Hiroshima University, Japan. I'm honored to give a brief introduction about our plenary speaker. Professor Naoki Isobe is a professor of animal science of the Graduate School of Integrated Science for Life in Japan. He has earned his bachelor's degree from the Faculty of Applied Biological Sciences of the Hiroshima University. He earned his master's degree from the Graduate School of Biosphere Sciences from the same university, and he qualified with a PhD degree as well from the same institute. With that brief introduction, I would like to cordially invite Professor Naoki Isobe to conduct the plenary speech. Dear sir, the screen is yours.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you well.
Can I show my slide?
Could you please share the screen?
Can I share the slides?
Yes, sir, we can see your screen.
But I cannot now. Please permit me. Permit me the sharing the slides. Okay.
Yes, sir, now we can see your presentation. Thank you.
Can I start?
So please go ahead.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. My name is Naoki Sobe. I belong to the Hiroshima University, Japan. So today, thank you very much, Dr. Deshapuria, for inviting me the Congress. So the topic of my presentation is innate immunity of mammary gland. And I want to show you the two treatment for the mastitis, treatment method, mastitis, developed in Japan. So as you know, the mastitis is the inflammation in the udder, mainly occurred in the dairy cows. So this mastitis, the decrease the milk yield and the milk quality, and the increase the treatment costs. So the mastitis causes very economic losses, about the $80 million per year in Japan. So the immunity in the mammary gland is very important to prevent the mastitis. Now I want to show you the immunity. The immunity has there are two kinds of the immunity. The one is the innate immunity, and another is adaptive immunity. Maybe you know well about adaptive immunity. So this contains the antibodies. This produced by the B cell or plasma cells. And this antibody recognize only the one epitope of the antigen. So the specificity is very high. But the adaptive immunity, the response very slowly, about 4 days or more after the bacterial invasion. But the innate immunity has a very quick response, about 0 to 4 hours after the bacterial recognition by the mammary gland. And the specificity is very low. This means for example, the antimicrobial peptide. This is one component of the innate immunity. This peptide can kill the many kinds of the bacteria or fungi and virus. And another component of the innate immunity is the neutrophils and macrophages. My research is focused on these antimicrobial peptides in the mammary gland. So I want to show you about the antimicrobial peptides produced in the mammary gland. There are many kinds of the antimicrobial peptides synthesized, produced in the mammary gland here. Then some epithelial cells in the mammary gland, for example, the inside of the alveolus or milk duct or cistern and the teeth, produce some the antimicrobial peptides, such as the defensin and the lactoferrin and cathelicidin 7. The antimicrobial peptides produced around here, the alveolus or milk duct. But only S187 is produced around the teeth, skin, and inside the epithelial cells. And also the leukocyte is floating with the milk in the other around here. These leukocyte also produce antimicrobial peptides like lactoferrin and cathelicidin 2,7 and S108. So like this, the different localization of the antimicrobial components like this suggest the cooperative the antimicrobial activity in the mammary gland. And these antimicrobial peptides are secreted into the milk, and their concentration were increased by the inflammation. Please look at this figure. This is a lab. This is one of the antimicropeptides concentration in the milk is higher in the mastitis milk compared with the healthy milk. So this suggests that the antimicrobial peptides play an important role on defense system in mammary gland. So here I want to introduce two treatment methods for mastitis developed in Japan. The mastitis is usually treated with antibiotics, but the recently antibiotic-free methods have recently been recommended. So today I introduce two such methods. One is a mammary irrigation regimen, and another is a temporary cessation of milking. So first, the mammary irrigation method. So this is very simple. The washing inside the udder with saline. So this method is to remove bacteria in the mammary gland and bacteria's wall component, such as lipopolysaccharide, and also the inflammatory components like inflammatory cytokines, such as interleukin 1 beta, 6, TNF, and so on. So protocol is like this: the milking completely and infuse the cold saline. The normal saline is also okay, but the cold is better to cool the temperature in the mammary gland. So this volume as much as possible, approximately 500 milliliter by the gravity, such as intravenous drip, like this. And remove the saline and repeat this infusion and repeat cycles several times until there is no more clotting. So the method is this, only this. So very simple. We use the needle like this. So using this method, Dr. Shinozuka reported the recovery rate of this method. So I want to introduce these methods. He classified two groups of coliform mastitis. The one is systemic antibiotics treatment only group. The another is irrigation regimen was performed. And this group was further classified two groups. One is with antibiotics, the another is without it. So the recovery rate in the systemic antibiotic treatment group is 38%, very low, but the irrigation regimen groups shows the recovery rate, very high recovery rate, 70 and 80%. With and without the antibiotics. So this mammary irrigation regimen is a very effective, highly effective. But only the saline was used. So this is a very cheap, no cost, and very easy. So the farmer can do this method. So now the many Japanese farmers use this method and effective. And the second method for the mastitis, there is a temporary cessation of milking. This method is for treatment of the mastitis infected by only the contagious streptococci, like Streptococcus uveitis, and so on. So this method is also very simple. The milking at first, and antibiotics intramammary infusion into the mastitic quota, only the mastitic quota. And then stop the milking for 3 days, only the mastitic quota. And after that, restart the milking. That's all. This method is also very simple. And the Dr. Kondo reported that this method, so the mastitic cows, and they reported the recovery rate. So they classified the mastitic cows 3 groups. One is only antibiotics, no temporary cessation. And second is both was performed. And the third group is only the TCM, temporary cessation. So the result is about this. The recovery rate is very low in only the antibiotics, only the 40%. And this also for only the temporary cessation milking is for 50%. But both the antibiotics and TCM method is shows a very high recovery rate, 70%. So this method, temporary cessation of milking, was established in Japan. So no English name. So I made by myself this method, the temporary cessation of milking. And this is already published in this journal. So the antibiotics can keep the effective the antimicrobial components are also maybe accumulated in the milk in this duration, the milk stopping. So which may play the role on killing the bacteria. So the next we examined the effect of the temporary cessation of milking on the antimicrobial components, peptides in milk. So we used the animals for 6 color goals. Like this, the same way, the milking here and stop the milking for 3 days. And after that, the restarts the milking. And milk was collected during this experimental duration, and measured the SCC and the antimicrobial peptides component in the milk. The result is like this. Here, blue area is the cessation of milking duration. The milk yield is decreased just after the cessation of milking, like this. But after that, the recovered milk yield like this, for 5 days later. And the SCG, conversely, increased after the cessation of milking, but this also recovered to the basal level around here. And those antimicropeptide concentration is increased after cessation of milking around like this. And after that, the decreased and return to the basal levels like this. So these results suggest that shows that a few days later, after the receiving the milking, the antimicrobial peptide concentration in milk increased like this. But in this time, the milk yield is decreased like this. So the temporary cessation of the milking increase the antimicrobial peptide concentration by the decreasing the milk yield. But this is the high concentration. Anyway, it's very important to kill the bacteria in the mammary gland. So although new methods are being developed like this, the mastitis still occur. So the preventive efforts such as vaccine should be focused on in the future. Okay, thank you very much. The presentation is over. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that informative plenary speech. At the conclusion of Professor Isobe's speech, we are going to commence the scientific sessions now. Let's have an overview of the different scientific sessions and the venues of those sessions. Please note that the clinical sessions will take place in this hall, which is the main hall. At the same time, poster presentations will also be held in the same venue. Towards the right side of the main hall, the poster presentations will be conducted. And on the 4th floor, in the conference room, the public health and animal production session will be conducted. In the afternoon, at the same location, animal health session will be conducted. Finally, on the 5th floor in the Blitz room, the wildlife and aquatic medicine session will be conducted. The organizing committee requests you to follow the abstract book to have more details about the presentation sessions and the presentations. There are a few announcements. Please note that the directions to different locations of the scientific sessions will be displayed at the lift area. And the organizing committee invites all the chairpersons of the session as well as judges to commence the sessions as soon as possible. At the same time, the organizing committee would like to mention that they are deliberately expecting to have a respectable scientific session with immense attention during the presentation as well as with immense engagement during the Q&A session. And also, the lunch will be served at the 4th floor at the restaurant. Finally, at the end of the scientific session, the organizing committee would like to invite all of you to join the session at the main hall, which is this hall, to appreciate the contribution of the scientific committee and the session chairs. So I would like to wish you a great rest of the day and thank you.